So now we're back with Learn GDScript from zero, and this is an open source project by GDQuest.com. We'll continue where we left off over here at creating arrays. All right. So the range function we saw in the previous lesson outputs. Let me do that again. The range function we saw in the previous lesson outputs a list of numbers. For example, calling range 3 produces the list of numbers 0, 1, 2. True. All right. When we do this, go through once, prints out 0, twice, prints out 1, 3 times, prints out 2, and that's it. All right. So a list of values, numbers, or otherwise has a precise name and code. We call it an array. So we can say, pardon me. So we can say the range function produces an array of numbers. True. We could directly write and use that array inside our for loop instead of the range function. We can run the next function step by step and see how it works. I mean, we can, but why? You know, if range does it, why bother with this? Anyway, so if we do this, we can see does the 0 first, prints it 1 second, and then 2. I mean, it's exactly what the range thing is doing. It gives you the exact result. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's go. So as we can see, the code still works the same. Notice that when we create a for loop, we also create a local variable to which the loop assigns one value per iteration. That's anyway, above we named it number. They're just talking about this number thing, this right here, when they say that fun sentence. Anyway, so above they named it number because the array that's looped over contains 3 numbers 0, 1, and 2. But we can name it anything we like. So we can name it element 2. It really doesn't matter. So boom, boom, boom. Same thing. Element, number, whatever we want. If we unwrap the for loop above, this one above, we get the following code with the exact same behavior. What the hell happened? Why did this person start switching it? Why did this person switch it over to English instead of American? Because, I mean, we've seen behaviors before and they weren't. Anyway, so func run var array, this var element. I mean, if we run through these steps, it's the exact same thing. Except for we haven't gone over this. This 0 is not this 0. Okay. This 0 is the actual position it's in. Okay. So if this was like, apples, oranges, and melons, right? Or grapefruit, whatever, it would still be accessed like this. It wouldn't be like array at apples. Okay. It would be array at 0. Okay. So this 0 and this 0 are not the same. If you're fresh and you don't know, that's the truth. This 0 is this 0. This 0 is not this 0. Okay. If this was apples, this would be apples, and this would still be 0 because this is at position 0. Okay. Anyway, and we see, yeah, just like that. All right. So the syntax of arrays, we write arrays this way in GDScript. So value 1, and then we have a comma, space. The space is optional. Value 2. Yeah, the space is optional, but we use it for readability. We start with an opening square bracket, then we write a comma separated value then we write comma separated values that compose the array. Finally, we need a closing square bracket to complete the array. All right. So inside of brackets, comma separated values. Here are a couple of ways of valid arrays. Notice how we can mix values and how they don't need to follow one another, right? So, I guess in order, I guess that's what that is. Like here's one that's in order and it's all numbers, but here's one with a vector 2 and then another vector 2 and then a 5 and then all the way down to negative 1.0. And this is an integer or a number. I don't know what the data types are. We haven't gone over those yet, but this is definitely going to be like an integer and this is going to be like a float because it's got the decimal point. Anyway, so let's keep going. Because arrays themselves are a value type, just like numbers or vector 2, we can assign arrays to variables and reaccess them later. True. That'll come in handy in the next lesson where we will use those variables in loops. So same thing right here as this one right here, except for it's got like the var and the names of the variables. So first, let's see when we'd use an array. When we use arrays in computer programming, we use arrays all the time. Anyway, we use arrays a lot in computer programming. Precisely, we'll use them whenever we need to store a list of things. We always need lists of things in games. So like the player's party in an RPG, the items in the player's inventory, the high scores in an arcade game, the objects in a game world. So all of those and many more rely on arrays. Do they? Yeah, whatever. Using arrays to follow a path. Let's look at a widespread use of arrays in games, finding and following a path. In games, we'll need allies or monsters to find their way to their target, whether it's the player or some point of interest. True. To achieve that, we use a pathfinding algorithm. As the name suggests, those algorithms find the path between 2 points and allow AIs to traverse the game. Yeah, so it'll go just like that. Many of those algorithms use arrays of vector 2 coordinates to represent the path. Take this turtle pet. Okay, it wants to follow the robot, but there are rocks in the way. How can we tell it where to walk to reach the robot? With an array, of course. So yeah, it would go to vector 2, 1, 0, vector 2, 2, 0, and then follow the path all the way to here. Right? Oh yeah, and here it is right here. So path to robot, vector 2, 1, 0, 2, 0, what? I guess it, what? 3, 1, 2, anyway, whatever. So this thing's like flying off the edge of the screen, but you know, it'll kind of look like that. So every value in the array is a vector 2 and represents a cell the turtle needs to walk through. Oh, yes. Together, all the values in the array represent a path we can draw. Okay. So yeah, I'm just flabbergasted. This thing doesn't work so well, but whatever. I mean, you can't. Nothing's perfect. In upcoming lessons, we will see how we can use arrays to store player inventories or design attack combos. But for now, let's practice creating arrays. So walk into the robot. We're going to help the turtle find its way to the robot. We're going to give it a path to follow to reach the robot. Okay, anyway, so let's do it. So goals: the turtle wants to meet the robot, but it cannot find it on its own. Okay, we're going to fill the turtle path array with vector 2 coordinates indicating where the turtle should move to avoid the obstacles and arrive safely to the robot. The turtle can move up, down, left, or right. It cannot move diagonally, okay? It's recommended that we copy and paste to fill the array with common separated vector 2 values quickly. That's definitely what we're going to do. All right, so let's drop this down. 1, 2 like that. Bring it over 1. Same here. And then right here, let's start. We'll start with vector 2. Vector 2, 1, 0. 1, comma 0. All right, let's put a comma at the end of this. Let's highlight it from all of 2 to the end of 1. Copy that. Count how many we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 7. So let's drop this off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So 1, 0, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 5, 5. 5, 5, whoops, 5, 5, and 5. All right. So what's this one? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, and the rest are ones. 1, 1, 1, 1, except for this one. All right, that should be good. Let's run it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we could have got that turtle to turn its nose, wouldn't that have been cool? All right, so we got that going on. Let's do this next one. Selecting units. So in this tactical game, the player and computer can select multiple units at once. We need to call the select units function and pass it an array of vector2 coordinates to know which units to select. Okay. Each vector2 in the array represents a cell with a unit. We can pass arrays and function calls as arguments. As an array is a value type the computer recognizes, we can pass the whole array as a single function argument. We're going to select all units on the board by passing the correct array to the selected units function. Okay, so it's going to be another vector2 thing like the last one. So let's drop this down 2 like that, and it keeps it together for us. And let's start off with this one. So this is at 1, 0. So vector2, 1, 0. Can we just hold on? Let's see if we can do this. Yeah. All right. So the last one we can do. So this is 0. Let's do 3 more. All right. So this one's 0, 3. All right. So let's say 0, 3. 0, 3. All right. Then we got down here 5, 1. 1, 5. Whoops. And then we've got 4, 2. All right, cool. So 4, 2. All right, so that should be good. Let's run it. Yeah. All right, so let's continue. That's the end of that. All right, so now we're on to looping over arrays, and we'll see you next time.